Twilight Tower of Terror.
What the fuck?
Look out here. Okay.
Dans n'importe quoi sauf des grands-mamans.
Non, ça c'était les tunnels de diversion, je pense.
Alrighty folks, welcome to the diversion tunnel here at Hoover Dam. You are standing right here where the yellow line crosses the light blue line, X marks the spot. Now, these diversion tunnels were some of the first things constructed here at the dam site for the purpose of building Hoover Dam, as it is pretty difficult to construct a dam with the river running through the canyon. So you want to move the river, and that's what these tunnels achieved. So this all begins in May of 1931 with the drilling, blasting, and lining of the 4 diversion tunnels through the canyon walls. This is a process that takes about 19 months to complete. And once it's done, that's when they can start diverting the river. And they do that by constructing smaller dams called cofferdams, the upper and the lower cofferdam. The upper cofferdam is what forces the waters of the Colorado River into the 4 diversion tunnels and through the canyon walls. Whereas the lower cofferdam was there to stop that water just backflowing into the construction site. So they're essentially sealing the canyon off and making an island within it for the men to work in. And work they did. Hoover Dam proper took less than 2 years to construct. It was an incredibly fast pace, and it actually means that at the height of construction, they were moving one 16-ton bucket of concrete into the dam every 78 seconds. They were doing this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 363 days of a year for just under 2 years. So they are slinging concrete to get this thing built, which then kind of begs the question of how? How can they move so quickly? So it was a pretty cool setup. It was something called a cableway crane system. This was 9 massive cranes that spanned the entire width of the canyon and actually gave them access to all parts of the work site with incredible speed and accuracy. This system of cranes is really what allows them to shave almost 2 years off the construction timeline for the dam. Now, as Hoover Dam begins nearing completion about 1935, around about that time, they start filling the reservoir behind the dam, and they do that by closing the diversion tunnels off in stages. So at first they close a couple, this backs the water up, and it forms Lake Mead. But they leave one open, so water can keep flowing down the Colorado River for agricultural needs. But that only lasted about 1936. 1936, they closed the final tunnel, and they opened our 4 intake towers. Now, those intake towers are the massive structures standing out in the lake behind the dam. And that's where water's entering into the hydroelectric system. So water flows into the intakes and then down into the pipes beneath. We are standing over one of those pipes. So the pipe out that window there is called a penstock. That is a fancy term for a water pipe. It is 30 feet in diameter, and through it you can flow up to about 180,000 gallons of water per second. This is enough water to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool in less than 4 seconds. And there are pipes, or more of those pipes, about four total, running to our power plant. That's where it's spinning some generators and producing hydroelectric power. The water is released into what's known as the tailway. From there, we destroy this lower cofferdam, reopening the river to flow downstream once again. This upper cofferdam is actually left in place, and it is still out in the lake, helping us with a process known as desilting. Now, the last system I'd like to talk about down here is our spillway system. And this works the exact same way as your bathroom sink. The bathroom sink, it has an extra drain hole in the side of it to stop it from overflowing. It's pretty much the same exact principle here, just supersized. So if there's ever too much water in the lake, it's flowing into those spillways and getting diverted around the dam, preventing what's known as overtopping. Now, this emergency system, it's only ever been used twice. The first time was a test in 1941 to actually make sure it worked. But the second time was the real deal in 1983. That summer, we had a massive flood causing the waters of Lake Mead to rise within 7 feet of overtopping the Hoover Dam. These spillways sit 27 feet below the top of the dam, but in this photo, the 16-foot drum gates are raised, And that is a 4-foot wall of water flowing into the spillways for 67 consecutive days on Sunday.
Wow.
It is the most water we've ever seen here at the Hoover Dam. Now, from here, we're going to head on up to the power plant, so please follow me. Alrighty, folks, follow me.
Look at the tunnels.
Let's find a transformer.
We're deep underground right now. Let's not get caught in any trouble or something like that. So weird.
That's their regularly.
I don't like when Johnny introduces me.
The rock is awesome.
You're awesome. Yeah, blasting and all that stuff to get through it. See, there's the holes in there for the dynamite. That was crazy once. They put me in a room, rubber room with rats. Rats make me crazy.
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 I feel like we need to get in like one of those mining cars and go woohoo.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think they did that much.
No. Seems like it. This is the opposite of our deep compression going 50 floors up with the Cosmo, huh?
Alrighty, folks, find a spot along the railing. So come on in and find a spot along the railing. Alrighty, folks, looks like we've got just about everyone. So welcome to the Nevada side of our power plants. In front of you are 8 of our 17 commercial generators. There are 9 more of these generators located in the Arizona wing. Each generator stands about 70 feet tall, but from here, they're only looking at the top 30 or so feet. So they're going to extend another 40 feet below the floors. Now, by itself, a single generator will produce up to about 130 megawatts of electricity. Meaning the total combined output of this facility, all generators running simultaneously, is just a little under 2,100 megawatts of electricity, or enough power for about 1.3 million homes throughout the American Southwest. Looking at the generator closest to us, let's look at the floor in front of it. You see a gated off area and 3 brown half circles sticking up out of the floor. That is a Pelton water meter. It's a different type of generator, and it's powering all of our systems, equipment, and machinery. And one of those pieces of machinery that I like talking about is that big green thing with the American flag hanging from it. That is a P&H bridge crane. You can see a second bridge crane even further down the length of the powerhouse. Each bridge crane has a lifting capacity of about 300 tons. To give you an idea of just how much that is, the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor, she only weighs like 225 tons. Meaning that crane by itself can easily lift the Liberty, which I think that is pretty neat. But it's not what we're using our cranes for. We're using them for maintenance. Notice the tracks above your head that give them access to all the generators in this room. This is important because inside those generators is something called a rotor. And that rotor can weigh up to 600 tons. So it actually takes both cranes working together just to lift one. On average, our generators are about 60 to 70% original components. They were constructed from 1936 to 1961. This means that some of these generators are approaching service lives of just under 90 years, which isn't too shabby. Next, take a look down at your shoes, because underneath your shoes is our Godstone marble flooring. Made in 1936 and 37 by the Martina family at a cost of about $60,000. This was a bargain. estimated the replacement cost for all 121,000 square feet of marble floors will be in the tens of millions of dollars today. Now in these floors, you can see some pretty cool designs. There's a large design over by the black benches and another in the alcove by myself. These designs were done by Alan Tupper True. He was a Colorado-based artist who worked closely with the Bureau of Reclamation designing facilities across the American West. For this facility, he chose designs taken from the basketry and the pottery work of Native American tribes who settled along the Colorado River Basin. He copied around about 100 of those designs throughout the facility's floors, split between both the powerhouse and the dam. Lastly, though, let's talk about that deep wall behind the black benches. There is nothing special about it. What's special is actually 4 feet behind it. Behind that wall is the face of Hoover Dam. At this level, Hoover Dam is only about 450 feet thick, and at its base, it is 660 feet thick. To give you an idea of just how thick that is, this room, on the pink wall there, too far wall down there, is 650 feet long. So imagine this entire room filled with concrete. It gives you a pretty good idea of just how big Hoover Dam is at its base. From top to bottom, the structure is 726.4 feet tall, but at the top it's only 4 to 5 feet-ish about, and that really gives you a nice idea of just how thick and big the Hoover Dam is that kind of shape. Alright folks, those of you that need red, white, and blue Dam Tour wristband, we're going to go join Daniel at the metal gate over in the corner. Those of you on the power plant tour, don't move because you're staying with me.
Alright, self-guided tour.
This is the rotunda.
So we were down there in that building. Yeah.
We were all the way down there where the little stairs are?
Yes, under that.
That's so cool. Holy Toledo guy.
I love your shirt. I wish I had that one.
Thank you. Yeah, I got it in Puerto Vallarta. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I call it my peacock shirt. For those that are wondering what shirt we're talking about, it's a leopard. I know it's not a peacock. But, yeah. Okay.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
There. Yeah.
I'm gonna videotape halfway, and then you can do all the pictures on the way back. Okay.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Thanks.
For that. I just needed a little.
It is. It's very pretty. It's all Art Deco and stuff inside the men's restroom.
I gotta see. Wow. Oh, it's not a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's even like this in the bathroom, but you can't go in this one because it's the boys' room.
That's cool. I think that's gorgeous. Just that.
Nevada time. Yeah, because on the other side it's Arizona.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Here.
No. Look at all the bubbles down there.
It's fairly steep.
I don't know what that means, lock. Stop it.
Mira, ya está verde, verde, verde. ¿De dónde? No sé, pero...
I think that's seeing enough of it. I'm gonna stop videotaping. Yeah. Oh, over there's the spillway he was talking about. I'll take some pictures or something.